Hey, it's Sarah with House Copper. Today, on this very rainy spring day in Wisconsin, I'm going to do a lid build. It's going to be a little lid, and I'm doing this because I always get asked to make lids, so I'm assuming there's a lot of people out there who want to make lids. And I have this little butter dish that has to have, it's a tin lined butter dish, which is lovely and very pretty and cute, but it needs a little lid, and it has a brass handle. So if I had brass, I can't remember if I had brass, I might have brass. But what we're going to do is we're gonna make a lollipop lid, and I'm going to, I think I've done how to make flat lids in the past, but those are bigger lids, and when you're working smaller, it just kind of has a different feel and a different touch. And then when you're working with having different handles, I think I used a blacksmith handle last time, but when you're forging your own handle, that also is just a different step. So I'm going to do how to make a little tiny handle today. All right, first and foremost, we're gonna measure. And you're gonna measure from the outside to the outside of something like this. And it looks like 3, and the actual diameter exterior to exterior is 3 1/4. And then I always go both across that way, and then from the middle of the handle, again from the outside to the outside. This is slightly misshapen, but essentially it's 3 1/4. So I don't want this to have a huge overhang. It just tends to look sloppy. So I'm going to cut a circle to actually be, and I like to sometimes test it out just and eyeball it, to being, instead of 3 1/4, I think I'm gonna go 3 3/8, which will allow for just the tiniest overlay, because you don't want it to be, I just like to eyeball what it'll look like. Yeah, I think that'll work. 3 3/8. All right, so now off to the circle prep. I have to say it's really funny because in this shop, I have to come up with all the angles again, like what new angles are needed to do all these shots. But anyway, this is actually 040, so it's a lot thicker stock, otherwise known as 18 gauge, I think. I can never remember some of these things. It's the one place math fails me. So because I'm gonna cut something that's 3 3/8, I'm actually gonna cut a piece that's like 3 1/2 to give me just a little bit of room to do the circle. And I just like to check it as I prep my stomp shears. Here we go, 3 1/2. I don't know if you can hear it, but it is raining cats and dogs today in Wisconsin. All right, 3 1/2. So that was one part, and then now I'm going to do another 3 1/2. 3 1/2. Okay. Just seems so small. I guess it is small. Okay, so here is it's 3 1/2 by 3 1/2, and so there's just enough room for me to cut a circle that is 3 3/8. And now because this is on a thicker stock, I can't use my circle cutter, so everything has to be done by hand. All right, here's our piece. We're going to use this compass, and in order to do something that is 3 3/8, we need to do something that is 1 11/16. So let's see here, 1 2 4 6 8. Such preciseness. There we go. And I just like to test everywhere to make sure I have enough room on all the sides. If I'm going to draw my circle, can you hear the rain? It's crazy. And you'll notice, I mean, I am tight, but I don't like to waste if I don't have to. All right. Here we go. I suppose I can always draw it different if I need to. You know, I went from using very little math and math tools in my daily life to using them all the time. It still is disconcerting. All right. Now you can see my scribed circle, and as I've mentioned many a time in the past, before you actually start cutting, cut off all your excess. All right. Lovely. All right, moving on to a handle. So there's no actual rule of thumb for a handle length for these. And it's going to be offset, and it's going to be riveted towards the middle. Usually they're kind of towards the middle back. I like putting in the middle for weight, but you don't want it so heavy that it's and that if I went down here that it would pull, you know, the whole lid. So I'm going to kind of go the difference, and I'm going to cut it right here. Just so you know, I just used a wire cutters right here to chop it. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to set it there. Actually, I think I'm going to go right about here. Okay. And I'm going to file off the sharp edges. Don't mind me. This is what happens when your shop is not set up yet, but your business is still running. All your tools are on the ground. Not ideal, not preferred, but all I got right now. Until I have time to make my shop work. It means I have to stop taking work. Right, next I'm going to drill out, and this is the top, yeah, where I want to put my rivet. I always drill this first and then measure into the body. All right, I changed the shape of it. I want it to be a little bit more pretty. And we're gonna put it right here so it'll have an offset. Wow, you really can't see what I'm doing, can you? And there we go. Then punch your hole and drill again. All right, my hole's drilled. There's my rivet. There we go. And now all we have to do is hammer it. There we go. Now all that's left is to tin it, and we will have a lid. Okay, so we have our dish, we have our lid. Once it's tinned, it'll be done. And it fits really lovely. And the brass handle is very pretty. See if I can tilt it. So anyway, that is that. The end for that build. That's all. It was just a fun little build. And I will be doing videos again, trying to do them more regularly. It is really hard, to be honest, to run a business and do all the invoicing and do all these builds, like actual builds for real customers and restorations, as well as these videos, and run my farm and the kids and my writing career. So it is a juggle, and I appreciate your patience with me for when, you know, it gets to be a little bit longer between videos. I do appreciate it, your patience. So anyway, as always, you can find me otherwise on Instagram and Facebook, and my YouTube page here. Obviously, subscribe if you haven't, and tell your friends and family. And I really look forward to seeing you here next time on House Copper's channel. Take care.